The scariest thing is not the darkness around us, but the shadow within. He called it the shadow. The shadow is everything we don't want to see in ourselves. The anger we suppress, the envy we deny, the fear we refuse to admit. It is the mask we wear cracking at the edges. To Jung, the shadow is not just a collection of flaws, but the parts of us we exile in order to be accepted. As children, we learn quickly what earns love and what brings rejection. A boy told never to cry hides his tenderness. A girl told to be nice swallows her rage. Piece by piece, our authentic selves retreat into darkness, while a persona, the social mask, steps into the light. We become performers on the stage of life, hoping no one notices the cost of our disguise. But the shadow does not disappear. It waits. It leaks through sarcasm, sudden outbursts, secret addictions. It appears in dreams, wearing strange faces. It follows us into every relationship, whispering through jealousy, control, or silence. Jung warned that the greater the light of our persona, the darker the shadow that grows behind it. The successful professional who seems flawless may carry hidden despair. The devoted parent may conceal resentment. The spiritual teacher may battle secret temptations. The shadow is not evil by nature. It is life unlived. It is the creativity, passion, and strength we pushed down when the world told us to behave. To reject the shadow is to reject half of who we are. Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Facing the shadow is not about fighting demons. It is about retrieving the pieces of ourselves we abandon. Imagine standing before a mirror that shows not the face you present to the world, but the face you hide even from yourself. It is unsettling, even terrifying. Yet within that mirror lies the key to freedom. Because when we deny the shadow, we project it. The traits we refuse to own in ourselves we see and despise in others. We call someone arrogant, blind to the pride in our own hearts. We condemn others' weakness while ignoring our fears. The world becomes a battlefield of mirrors, each reflection showing us what we most reject within. This is why Jung insisted. The first step toward wholeness is not perfection, but honesty. To look within and say, yes, this too is me. Part 2. The shadow does not come to destroy us. It comes to complete us. Jung believed that wholeness is not found in denying the darkness, but in learning to walk with it. Every myth of the hero, every tale of descent into the underworld, echoes this truth. The treasure lies guarded by a dragon, and the dragon is our own shadow. When we refuse this encounter, life repeats the lesson. We find ourselves trapped in the same arguments, falling into the same relationships, sabotaging the same opportunities. It feels like fate. Jung would say it is the shadow, circling back, asking to be seen. Dreams are often the stage where the shadow appears most vividly. A stranger chasing you, an animal biting, a friend turning hostile. These images are not random. They are the shadow wearing masks. Jung urged us not to dismiss nightmares, but to ask, what part of me is trying to speak? To meet the shadow requires courage. Not the courage of conquest, but the courage of confession. To admit, I am capable of cruelty. I am capable of envy. I am capable of weakness. Only then can we also say, I am capable of greatness. The world urges us to polish our persona, to appear strong, kind, successful. But individuation, the path Jung spoke of, asks us to go deeper, to peel away the mask and listen to the voice beneath. The persona wins applause. The shadow wins authenticity. Many resist this work because it feels like losing control. But Jung believed that until we make the shadow conscious, it will direct our lives, and we will call it fate. The angry father who swears he will never be like his own dad, yet finds himself yelling at his children. The leader who preaches honesty, yet hides secret corruption. The shadow lives in the gap between who we claim to be and who we actually are. And yet inside the shadow lies gold. The artist's passion buried under years of be practical. The leader's strength hidden under fear of being too much. the lover's tenderness swallowed by shame. Integrating the shadow is not about erasing darkness, but recovering these lost treasures. Jung compared this process to alchemy. Lead, the heavy, unwanted matter, is transformed into gold. Our flaws, our wounds, our rejected parts, when embraced, become fuel for wisdom and compassion. What once felt like poison becomes medicine. But this journey cannot be done by thought alone. It requires practice, writing down dreams, observing our reactions, asking ourselves why certain people irritate or fascinate us so deeply. Every trigger is a clue. Every judgment is a mirror. Jung often warned that confronting the shadow can feel overwhelming. That is why imagination is vital. Through active imagination, we can speak with the shadow, draw it, dance it, write letters to it. What we cannot face directly, we can circle in symbols. Slowly, what was terrifying becomes familiar, even friendly. The goal is not to become perfect, but whole. A person who integrates their shadow no longer fears their own depths. They can look into the eyes of others and see not just their faults, but their humanity. This is what Jung called the privilege of a lifetime, to become who you truly are. Part 3. To Jung, the shadow was never the final destination. It was the threshold. Beyond it waits a deeper mystery. The other figures of the psyche, Anima and Animus. Inside every man, there is an inner feminine presence, the Anima. She appears in dreams as a woman, a muse, sometimes a temptress, sometimes a guide. Inside every woman, there is an inner masculine presence, the Animus. He may appear as a father, a critic, a protector, or a sage. These are not literal figures, but living symbols of the soul's polarity. When ignored, they distort. A man cut off from his anima becomes rigid, cold, unable to feel. A woman who denies her animus may find herself voiceless, her strength locked away. But when integrated, they awaken creativity, empathy, vision, and courage. Jung compared this union to a marriage within the soul. Shadow work is like clearing the rubble. Meeting Anima and Animus is like discovering the architecture beneath. It is the artistry of becoming whole. These inner figures challenge us. The Anima unsettles a man's pride, pulling him into emotions he would rather avoid. The Animus confronts a woman's fear, pushing her to speak truths she has long silenced. They demand balance, not domination, but dialogue. And this dialogue is never easy. Many resist it, clinging to the persona, terrified of change. But Jung insisted, the path to self runs through these encounters. You cannot bypass them. You must sit with them, wrestle with them, listen to them. The myths echo this. Heroes are always aided and tested by mysterious figures of the opposite sex. Goddesses, witches, wise old men. They are mirrors of our own anima and animus, calling us toward the fullness we resist. As these figures are embraced, something remarkable happens. The world itself begins to change. Relationships deepen because we no longer demand others carry what we have denied. Creativity blossoms because the inner masculine and feminine dance together instead of warring. Life gains texture, nuance, color. And yet, Jung reminded us, this too is not the end. There is one more step, one more summit, the self. The self is not the ego. It is not the mask, nor even the shadow, nor the anima or animus. It is the center that holds them all. It is the totality of the psyche, the wholeness from which we came and to which we return. To glimpse the self is to feel both humbled and expanded. It is the moment in meditation when silence feels alive. It is the dream where you meet a wise figure who is both you and more than you. It is the paradox of feeling infinitely small and infinitely whole at the same time. The self is not an idea, but an experience. Jung often described it in symbols, a circle, a mandala, a radiant stone. Alchemists called it the philosopher's stone, the treasure hidden in base matter. Religions called it God, the Tao, the Atman. Jung called it the mystery of wholeness. To live in touch with the self is not to escape life, but to embrace it more fully. Light and dark, joy and sorrow, success and failure. all find their place within the greater pattern. Individuation, the journey of becoming whole, is nothing less than the adventure of becoming real. Part 4. Jung never promised that the journey of individuation would be easy. He warned it would feel like walking through fire, like dismantling the very identity you worked so hard to build. And yet, he insisted, it is the only path worth taking, because the alternative is emptiness. To live only as persona is to live half alive. To deny the shadow is to fight endless battles outside that should be faced within. To reject anima or animus is to silence voices that could guide you, but to embrace them all, persona, shadow, anima, animus, is to move toward the self, the center of your being. The self is not perfection, it is integration. It is standing in the tension of opposites and discovering you are larger than either side. It is holding sorrow without despair, joy without attachment, power without corruption, love without possession. Jung often spoke of symbols: a mandala drawn by a patient, a stone placed in a river, a dream of light breaking through darkness. These were not abstractions. They were living signs of the psyche moving toward wholeness. And perhaps this is why his words still echo today. In a world obsessed with image, Jung reminds us to seek substance. In a time addicted to distraction, he calls us back to silence. In an age that worships speed, he dares us to go deep. He left us with a challenge and a promise. The challenge, to look within, honestly, relentlessly, courageously. The promise, that in doing so, we will awaken to a life rich with meaning. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. The question is not whether the journey is difficult. The question is whether you are willing to begin. The treasure is waiting, not out there, but here, in the depths of your own soul.